Really brought me there and helped me sort of dive into Tessa was having some compassion for her, having some empathy for what I felt was just an overwhelming fear of a future without this family that she had thought was her perfect creation.
An intense psychological thriller may leave audiences with an unforgettable impression when it hits the theaters today, as Katherine Heigl plays a jealous ex-wife pushed over the edge. So movie writer Mike Scott with NOLA.com, the Times-Picayune, or as we affectionately call him, our movie guru, joins us with his take on Unforgettable.
Unforgettable, that's right. Yeah, you know, last week, The Fate of the Furious broke box office records. It's going to win again this week, but of the new releases, Unforgettable is probably the widest release, and it tells a story of a woman who goes off the deep end and decides to exact some revenge against her her ex and his new family. Katherine Heigl stars, as we saw there at the top, and she plays against type in this one. Normally she plays kind of a good girl. This time she plays a psychopath, and she's getting credit for doing actually a pretty good job. The rest of the movie, though, is not so unforgettable. This is the kind of movie that sort of hits all the points you're going to want to think you would expect. It's going to have some plot holes. It's going to remind you of movies that did it better.
Interesting. I like the cast.
Yeah. It's a good cast, and it's intriguing to see her playing against type.
So she's the cute girl you meet, and then she turns out to be crazy.
Right. She's like an insane Barbie doll.
All right, gotcha. There's an action comedy, Free Fire. What's that?
Yeah, this is kind of an interesting one. This one's a lot of fun. It tells the story of two criminal gangs who meet together in an abandoned warehouse for a arms deal, and then everything goes sideways. They end up in a 90-minute shootout. It's not a Quentin Tarantino movie, but I'll tell you what, I couldn't help but think of that there's an obvious influence of Quentin Tarantino in this movie. It's got the snappy dialogue, it's got the over-the-top violence, it's got that sense of momentum and stylishness. It's not as seamless as a Quentin Tarantino movie, but if you're a fan of his, this will do nicely until his next movie comes out.
Right? So the next movie we'll talk about here is set in the dawn of the 20th century, and it's The Lost City of Z.
Yeah, this is the one I'm recommending folks go see. This is the best new movie of the week. It's a period drama, and it tells the true story of Percy Fawcett, the British explorer who was sort of the original Indiana Jones, the real Indiana Jones. He plunged into the Amazon forest something like 6 or 7 times, convinced that there was a lost civilization there, a lost city he called Z, or Zed in the English fashion. And so this ends up being sort of a throwback movie. It's got, in the sense that it's got these beautiful scenery, beautiful sets. It kind of moves along at its own pace. Not that it dawdles, but it takes its time to kind of seduce you with the jungle, just as the jungle seduces him. And it ends up being a really cool story of, you know, man against nature. In my review, I call it sort of a cross between Heart of Darkness and one of those old Ivory Merchant period dramas.
Gotcha.
It's really an entertaining movie.
All right, and then there's a World War II movie.
Yeah, a World War II romantic comedy. It's called Their Finest, and it tells the story of a group of filmmakers in 1940 England who decide to put together a movie to kind of inspire their fellow countrymen. It's about the evacuation of Dunkirk, and along the way there are romantic entanglements among those in the cast. It's okay.
Sounds like a better than average set of movies. Nobody hits it out of the park.
I think that nails it.
Okay, Mike Scott, thank you. It is